Good afternoon and welcome to the second part of drawing a site plan. In today's video, we will be opening up the existing site plan that we drew in part 1. So you had saved it in your folder and we called it site plan. You don't want to simply double click on this because it might not open the program. So what I always do is I open the program first. And once this starts, then I can browse from a list. It might be selected here, but you want to browse and go into your folder and click on Site Plan. It'll give you a preview and you can go ahead and open that. You can read the tip and close it. Now today on this site plan we're going to add a few things. We're going to draw a second site plan lot beside the first site plan. We are going to extend our sidewalk in front of that lot as well. We're going to be also drawing the utilities that come in from the back and the front, the backyard and the street side. We will also be bringing in some images from the image library, such as trees and shrubs. We will learn how to hatch, and we'll possibly label the structure as well. Actually, we already did the labeling, so maybe we'll continue and label these as well, but we'll see about that one. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is, before I draw my utility lines, I need to have that second lot, because the utility lines are basically share the same I guess the same lines and images as for both sites. So this lot was 60 by, how big? 60 by 124, including the sidewalk, but 60 by 120 excluding the sidewalk. Okay, so let's just draw that the same way we did before. We'll draw them as separate lines. So I'll right click on this point here. Point relative, if you recall, is the apostrophe. And we'll type in 60 on DX. And always double check that this is on last point. Press OK, and we can press Enter to draw that line. We want these separate lines. We'll do the exact same thing on the top. Now I'm going to actually zoom in to the top to make sure I'm right-clicking on this point. So right-click here, point relative, 60 is already in the DX box, so we can just press Enter and Enter again to draw that. I'm going to zoom back out, and I will simply draw this line from here to here by snapping those 2 points. Now, at the bottom here, I'm going to zoom into this sidewalk with my zoom tool. At the bottom, I could possibly just extend this using my extension tool. Let's see if that works. There's my extension tool there underneath my trim tools. And if I left click on this line somewhere in this area, we'll see if I'll be able to extend this to this point, and I can. So again, what I just did is I grabbed that extension tool, clicked on this line, preferably near the end, left click near it. I don't want to snap here because it might select this line. So I'm going to left click at this point and pull it, and then once I get to the end, I'm going to right click. And this here, let's see, that is a separate line, so I'm going to continue paralleling that 4 feet over. So remember, if I click my parallel tool, type in the letter 4, if I double click on this, it should stay up until I'm done using it. So it won't always go back to the cursor. So this is a left click tool. So we're going to bring that all the way here. Now this drawing is getting a little bit more complicated, so what I really want to do is I want to save this now that I've drawn something as, let's say, Site Plan Part 2. So File, please save it now, File, Save As, and we'll just put a Part 2. under it, just like that. And we're saving it in the folder. Make sure it says your name, your folder right here. If it doesn't, just hit this down button and find your folder. And then press save. And when we zoom out now, we have 2 lots. Now you know how to do your setbacks, and if you don't know how to do that, I want you just to go back to the beginning of part 1 video and do your setbacks. I'm not going to do that with you because I've already taught that. I just want this property here so that I can go ahead and draw the next part of my site plan, which are my utility lines. So I'm going to just scroll up to the top here, and in fact I'm going to zoom in about like this much, just so I can see that a little bit better. Now, in one of your previous assignments, you learned how to use point polar, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to be paralleling this line outwards 4 feet, 4 times for the back and 3 times for the front. And we're going to have a line going out this way at 45 degrees and this way out at 135 degrees. So the length, actually, I'm not sure of. It hardly matters. As long as I get a line there, I can always extend it later. So let's get our angle drawing tool, which is this first one right here. And we're going to right click on this point, and we're going to click point polar. Now the slow way is to go here, and there's point polar here, and you can see the semicolon here is the quick key. So I'm going to click this time, but after that I'm going to use the semicolon, which is next to the apostrophe key. So the point polar is asking me how far do I want to go. Now I know that I have to go 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, and 4 feet. That's 16 feet, and plus it's at an angle, so it's probably close to around 20. So I'm going to type in 20 feet and an angle of 45. Remember that length hardly matters because I can use tools to get it longer later. Enter and enter again. We're going to do the same on this side. I want to zoom into this because I have a little post on the corner. I want to make sure that I'm zooming into this point right here. Let's get that angle drawing tool. Right click, but this time I want you to click on that semicolon and point polar pops up. The distance will leave. Tab takes me to the next box. Angle is 135. Enter and enter again, and then I'm going to zoom back out with my fit to screen, and you can see looks like I've drawn 2 horns up there. I'm going to wrong button. I'm going to zoom in just like that. Now, what I want to do is I want to parallel this line up 4. So get my parallel tool, and there you have it. Once I've paralleled this up, so remember you click and you go up and you left click, I can parallel it again, or I can extend this line. So I'm going to double click on my extension tool. That's this one right here. So once it's here, I want to double click on that. That way I can use it 2 times. So I'm going to snap. Oh, no, I'm going to left click. Snap didn't work. And I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to left click. And I'm going to click on this line and bring it past. Okay? And I could bring it actually out here, because when I parallel it, I want it to stay outside these little horns I drew. So now I can click my parallel tool. I double clicked it so that I can go up continuously 3 more times. Now you can see that this isn't long enough anymore, so I'm going to go back to my tool here, my extension tool. I'm going to left click here, pull that across. And remember, if I double click on the line, I can now pull this, left click, and I can come over here and I can do the same here. Okay, now all of this needs trimming. This can be trimmed. These are all your trim tools here. And if you take a look at this tool here, this trims multiple, I guess, lines. So this here, if I click on that, I can click on this line, this line, this line, and this line, and then the intersecting line, which is this one that comes across here. So anywhere on this line, like that. And once I've done that, I press enter, and it trims it, just like a scissor, just like that. So let's do the same on the other side. Just click, 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 and then the intersecting line, which is anywhere on this line, and enter. And the last one here, I want to use this first trim tool, and this trims a line against an intersecting line. So anywhere on this line, this is one would be intersecting it. So left click, and repeat the process on the other side. Okay, I like to save as often as possible. So let's save that now. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom and we're going to do this again. And it's pretty much the same except with different angles. Now you can see when I scroll down it looks like I lost a line. I actually didn't. It's just not regenerating properly. So if I click on this, regenerate, it will bring that line back. Okay, grab the line drawing tool, the first one for angles, snap to this point, and we're going to go down 45 degrees more than 180. So remember, when we're doing our degrees, this is 0, and our degrees go higher and higher and higher until we're right around at 360. So 0, 15, 30, 45, and so forth. That would be 90. This is 135. This is 180. And another 45 would be 225. Okay, so let's use point polar, the semicolon. And we'll type in, now we know that, oh, actually I only have 3 lines, so the distance should work for 20 this time. So 225 for the angle, and we'll keep the distance the same, 225. Enter. And do the same over here. And again, this is 0 all the way around to 225. Another 45 would be 270. And another 45, I believe, is 315. If I go another 45, it's 360. So 315 is correct. Point polar, my semicolon key, and 315, enter. Enter again. Same dealio here. We're going to parallel this down 4 feet. I'm going to double click on that and go down, down, down. And then I'll use my extension tool, double click, and move that here, and I'm not using my snap. I'm just moving it past the line with my left click. You can see I'm not being that accurate. It doesn't matter. Then I can use that tool over here. I'm cruising through this now because I've showed it to you already. And simply click, 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 enter. And over here, click, 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 and enter. And then use that first trim tool to trim this line against the intersecting line. Again over here, this line against the intersecting line. That's looking golden, loving it. Let's save it. Now these utility lines are my cable, my gas, my power. So cable, gas, power, phone. It doesn't really matter which one is which. And in the front we have our sewer, our storm, we'll call this one the storm. We will call this one our water, and we'll call this one our sewer. So only 2 of these lines go to the house, and the storm will stay on here. Now what we need to do is draw those lines into the house. Now I'm going to start in the front yard here, and I'm going to just zoom in so that I can see the utilities in the front of the house. What I like to do personally is I like to take and just grab a sidewalk line, and that way my lines are in line with the sidewalk line and it doesn't look messy. So what I do is I grab the extension tool and I just click here and bring that in, and I right click to this point, and I do the same going down. But this time when I go down, I can't click to this because it's a line, and when I right click it's trying to find a point. So watch, when I right click it's going to go back to this point. So again, like I've taught you in part 1, we're going to extend this down. Once we've grabbed the line, we're going to go and get line snap, and we're going to wait for that box to appear, and we're going to left click. So this is going to be my water line coming in. And now let's do the sewer line. So right click, and we'll do it over here. Grab that, go get line snap, bring it down till the box shows up, and left click. So there's my sewer going into the house, there's my fresh water going into the house, and this is my storm. just the water that runs down the street and the sidewalks and off your driveway. It's going to go into this line. Okay, so let's do the same on the other side, but this time we're going to put all 4 in. Now this time I don't have a sidewalk line that I can use up here, but if we want to, what we can do is we can just draw from this point. So I'm going to put them in right here, and I can draw from this point up by just using my this way I just don't have to measure anything, which is fun. So I'm just going to grab my line drawing tool, and I'm going to just right click here, and I should be able to right click here, yes, because it's if you take a look at this, it's finding the center of these little dots when I right click. That's what it's finding. Okay, so I did that one there. And this line doesn't need to be here, but it's all attached. So what I want to do is I want to grab that tool here, and I just want to bring this back by left clicking and bring it back to here and shortening it. So this line, and actually I didn't go far enough. Now that I'm looking at this, I want to be going to this point here. So let's zoom back into here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just drawing a box right in this area. And I'm going to extend this to this line here. Now there's no point to snap to, so I have to go get line snap, and then my box shows up and I left click. Now, rather than going back and grabbing a sidewalk line, why don't we just parallel this? So we're going to grab the parallel tool. 4 is selected. Double click on your parallel tool now that you know that 4 is selected. And now I'm going to parallel this over 3 more times. And I have to now extend these lines to the different lines out in the back alley. So we're going to get that extension tool, click on this line anywhere, and then we're going to bring that up to that point. So I got to get line snap. There's the box, left click. Okay, and do it again for the other 2. And last but not least, this one. And there we have it. All 3 lines coming into the house. And save. Now that the lines are going to the house, I need to find make some little, I guess, could be images, could be polygons, any little symbols, I guess we'll call them, that will indicate what these are, and we'll show it in our, I guess, in our legend. What would we call that? To think about that on the right side. It'll come to me. I'll talk about it later. But for now, let's get some symbols on here. So I'm going to start by drawing a circle on this line. Now, you can do these really freehand if you want. It doesn't matter too much. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to just visually put that on the line in the middle. And I'm going to copy it and paste it and put it on this line. And you can see the middle will be the middle of my crosshair. So I'm going to just left click that on that once that goes clear. There we go, there, and press enter. And that is going to be my first utility. And we can name these utilities later in our legend. Now, let's do another one. Let's do a rectangle. Let's do a skinny rectangle like this. Okay, that one can go over here. Now we can put them in line like this if you have room, or you can offset them. It doesn't really matter too much. And if you want to really center it on the line, if you zoom in, oh, that looks really good. Then you could position it a little bit better. And that, I have an option. I can actually rotate this and put it going this way, or I could, if I copy and paste this, Control C and Control V, I could go like this. To me, that doesn't necessarily look that great. I think I'm going to rotate it by clicking on it, pressing R, and my increment I'm going to change to 15 degrees, and I'm just going to drag this. Oh, didn't drag it enough. Let's try some more. There we go. Now 15 is a division of 45, so it will naturally stand up. And now I can place that over here. Now what I like to do is, if these are offset, I like to have these offset as well. Okay. And again, if it is not center, zoom in, center it, we're not going to get too picky with this stuff. Okay, now zoom back in, and let's do another one. Okay, what can we do now? How about a polygon? So the polygon tools are here. The third one will allow me to pick the number of sides. So let's say I want a hexagon, that's a 6. I can do that. So let's do a hexagon over here. And it's asking me, where do I want to put this vertex? See, the vertex is here. And what I might do actually on this one is let's take and put in a value. So I'm going to take, and the radius is showing me around 2.05. I'm going to put in 2. So no, 2 is maybe a bit heavy. Let's go 1.75. So I'm going to go point relative, and I'm going to type 1.75. And what that does is it gives me 1.75 from here to here. And again, I'm going to just put that on my line. That's looking good. Now this one I don't think I need to rotate, but we'll see. Control C, Control V, and we're going to bring that here. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let's zoom into that. Need to just move it over a bit. And then our last symbol, which is going to be, what can we do? What can we do? We can do a circle with a circle inside. We can do a circle with an X inside. Basically, you can make up whatever you want. You could even use a letter if you wanted. So let's try doing something special here. Let's zoom in first of all. And we're going to do a little smiley face. Oh, that's not the one I want. Let's try a different one. Let's try this one. Maybe this is the one I'm thinking about. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to do a little smiley face like that. And we're going to parallel that. Let's parallel it 3 inches. So let's see what that looks like. 3 inches. Nope, I want more than that. Let's go 6 inches or 0.5. Same thing. That's not bad. And I'm going to cap that off by going, actually I'm going to use my angle drawing tool because I don't know how straight those are, and I'm going to zoom right into this. And right click, enter. Yeah, they're not straight, so good thing I picked this tool. Enter. Now these are all separate lines, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw a box with the cursor, and we're going to group that. So tools, group, define. And now that I have that made, I can take and place it. Now, if I put it here, it's going to be too cluttered. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to place this one here. And I'm just going to maybe move these over a little bit. Something like that. Now, if you hold down your Shift key, see, I can move it. I'm trying to move. I'm going up and down with my mouse, but it's not letting me. But if you hold down your Shift key, you can move it along the line. So it'll generally stay in the same spot. So just like that while you're moving it. So it kind of looks even here. That's not too bad. I'm going to copy and paste this one over here. And when I zoom out, there you have it. Your 4 symbols over here on these are your service lines, and these are the ones coming to your house. And I would just simply take and copy and paste these over here, and then copy and paste all these into this house after I draw it. You're going to want to draw your house first. Now I'm going to save that. And next on the list is the front. So basically 2 more symbols we need to make. I'll zoom into here. And what can we do for a symbol? What can we do for a symbol? We could just pick a triangle. How about that? So we'll get our polygon tool, type in 3, and now this is asking me to the vertex again. So let's do that. Let's go 1.75. So I'm going down. So this is going to be negative on the y-axis. So point relative 0 and then tab negative 1.75, and this can be placed on this line here. And I can also copy and paste one and put it, that one is this line here. I can move those later if I don't like them. And then last but not least, what can we do? What can we do? Oh, how about a zigzag like this? So we'll just do a zigzag like a lightning bolt. And to make it more fancy, I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to parallel it. See what 0.5 looks like. Good. And cap it off. And you can make your own symbols. You don't have to copy me on the symbols. Once you've done this, you're going to have to group this. So we're going to draw a box around it. You might be able to right click. No, that won't let you do that. So I'm going to group it by going Edit. No, where is groups? I think it's under Tools. Yes. Group, Define. And I'm going to take that and put it over here. And copy and paste, Control-C, Control-V, and put that over here. How does that look? Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay, next on the list. Let's put some trees and shrubs. So I'm going to zoom in to the backyard. And if I go into my symbol library, we'll want to go File, and let's try Symbol Library. Let's see what happens. You might have to wait a bit for it to open up. You can see it's trying to work here. It's building the library. This is indented, so don't click around a whole bunch, just wait. Now, I've already opened this one time, but how am I going to show you how to get to this? Because it's actually fairly difficult. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, so this is what you do. You press on the Open folder, then you double click on these two lines, and then you double click on Arch for Architect, and then you press OK. And what it does is it opens this library. And you might need some help finding this library. If you're having trouble with it, come grab me and I'll give you a hand. Now I'm going to be looking for trees and shrubs. There's all kinds of things in here that are pre-built for you. So let's keep on going, scrolling down. Oh, there we go. Now here's a deciduous tree. I'm liking that. I think it is anyways. Different plants. This one looks like it came from Mexico. This one looks like it was shocked by electricity. You could build your own as well. Let's look farther down. I don't think there's much more than that. I think that was it. So yeah, there you go. You're going to pick from those for shrubs and trees. And you simply just take and grab it and pull it into your property. And press Enter. You can scale them afterwards. So when you go, you can also copy and paste them. So if you wanted to, you could just pull a few over and then work with some other ones. Or sorry, and copy and paste them and then pull a different one over. So I'm just pulling them randomly over here. Here's another one. Let's do that. I don't know what these are. No clue, but I'm going to pull it over to see what it looks like. Looks like some squiggly lines. Interesting. Oh, here's another one. Let's pull that one over. Okay, I don't know. That's not really a top. Maybe it's a top view. Okay, we're going to go with those for now. And I'll close this. Now that I have some things pulled over, you can put them where you want to. Now, trees, you don't really have to, they don't have to stay within any boundaries. You can put them wherever you want. So I like these ones. So I'm going to actually make them smaller. So I'm going to press S and a scale comes up. So I want these 3/4 of the size. So I put in 0.75 on both the X and the Y axis. That is 75%. Okay, and what I'm thinking here is I'm going to just move these aside. I'm going to treat them as shrubs. I'm going to copy and paste them along this side right here. And put one here. paste, and put one here. Okay, I don't know if I like that or not, but that's where those are going to be for now. I can take this and put it over here. Let's say I want some shade for my deck, but this tree needs to grow up a bit. So I'm going to press S, and I'm going to make this 1.5 times bigger. Nope, I'm going to make it bigger than that. So S again. Now it goes from the last scale. So I'm going to make another 1.5. Ooh, that's getting nice. Give me some nice shade. I could almost put that right over here. Wouldn't that be nice? In fact, that tree is going to grow up a bit more. Let's scale that up. Some more, 1.25, a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Some nice shade and some privacy from my neighbors. I'm going to put that tree right there. And I'm not sure what I would do with these things. I don't know what they are. To me, they just look like squiggly lines. Maybe I'm going to delete those. Not sure what I'm going to do with those. Let's delete them. This here kind of shows a little bit like it needs to be against the house. Maybe copy paste a few of those. If you have time, you want to make yourself some flowers or do something like that, a top view of flowers, you're welcome to do that. But make sure you have time. And this is a bigger tree that's going to be in this corner like this. I'm going to scale that one. And let's go 3 times. Let's see what 3 times looks like. Whew, that's a big one. I have some nice mature trees on my property. Okay, so you can see even by scaling it makes the tree look a little bit different. So those are just random. I don't have any kind of great aspirations to be a landscaper, but that will work. And I think I'm going to maybe put one of these trees up front. So let's take that. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to copy and paste it and put it right here beside the house. And maybe I'll put another one beside the house here. These are little shrubs, we're calling them. Again, it's easier always if you zoom in. And this is going to be kind of a walking area, so I don't really want to go any closer there. And I think you get the idea of how to place shrubs and trees. Now, let's save that. Now, how long is this video? Over half an hour, 32 minutes. What else can I do? Well, let's do hatching. Hatching is a pretty important thing. Let's start by showing what hatching is all about. So I'm going to zoom into the backyard. Actually, yeah, for now I'll zoom into the backyard. Hatching is underneath draw, and then there's hatch and hatch fill. And this box pops up. Now I'm going to close that. The other way to go is here. If you hold this down, there's hatch, and then there's another hatch. So that's hatch line. The first one was, what was the first one? Hatch. You want the last one, which is hatch fill. Okay? Make sure you're on the last one. And when you hover over top of it, it should say hatch fill. Now, with this, you can make hatching. So all of these are different types of hatches. When I click on this, it opens up another window and I can pick different types of hatching. So the way this works is you can fill in something that is solid. Like let's do this one here. Can I scroll over? No, it won't let me. So I'm going to cancel because I want to be able to see. I want to see this whole, what was this, a shed? And let's just pick a weave. Well, that's pretty. Let's do that weave. I don't want anything too complicated yet. So I can hatch things that are solid or are a box where they can't leak out. So this I guess rectangle here, I can weave it by selecting the weave, and I can check my scale. I don't know what 1 is, so I'm going to just leave it. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to left click here. Now it hatches this area, but it thinks that this cuts it off, so it's just going to hatch this area, and it does a weave. If I change the scale, and I think I could double click on this and change the scale as well here, somewhere here. Ooh, I can change the hatch too. There's my scale. So let's say I change that to 3. You can see my hatching gets bigger. So the higher the number, the bigger the hatch. So I'm going to delete that and press escape and delete. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a break in here. I'm going to delete this corner. And I'll delete a little bigger. And what happens is if I have a break in here, the hatch will leak out and go into other areas. Now you got to be careful. Now I know the hatch is going to leak out and probably seep into this area. It might stop here. But if you have a leak in your building or in your property, sorry, it's going to leak out into this area. And you have a possibility of crashing your computer because it has to work pretty hard to hatch such a big area. Make sure you save this before you hatch. Very, very important. You could even save this as Site Plan Part 2A, for example. Because when I hatch it, like this, you can see it leaked out and went into this area. So it's confined by these lines right here. Now I thought it would go farther, but I forgot there was a line here. So you got to be really careful. I'm going to undo that, Control Z. You got to be really careful that you're snapping to your corners because your hatching will not work. And this is why I usually save this almost to this point, because hatching can wreck your drawing if you don't do it properly. So what am I going to hatch? I am going to, in my backyard, I'm going to hatch grass in this area, and I'm going to hatch a garden. So I'm going to see if I can find some soil, and that weave kind of looked like soil there, so we'll see. Before I do my hatching, I want to get rid of my setback line. So I'm going to click on this line, press delete, this one, and there's a delete key on your keyboard, this one as well. Those are just there as your setbacks for building, for drawing. So now when I put my grass in here, it will probably actually stop on this line, but I'll just keep adding it until it goes all the way around the house. So let's grab the hatch. Let's see if I can find grass. First of all, we'll check to see if it's alphabetical. Well, it is alphabetical, but if they even list grass, GH, they do not. They do not. What can we have? I should have, oh, there's grass. It's way up here. Grass. There's grass. Is that type of grass or this? Ooh, that looks good. I like that. So let's try with hatch scale 1. Press OK. Click on here. And that looks not bad. I think I like that. It's not so busy. And we're going to double click on my hatch. And will that allow me to hatch? Yes, continuously. So now all of this is hatched. And I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't delete this line. So I'm just going to hatch the front yard as well. And that's going to be hatched as well. And I'm going to hatch this as well. Ooh, yeah, that went right into that area. So that's pretty good. And if you want, if you're not happy with your hatching, let's see this one here. My hatch scale, where was that? 1. Let's try 0.8. Let's see what that looks like. I kind of thinking I like 0.8 better. So it's probably easier if I just rehatch it to 0.8. While I'm deleting things, I'm going to delete this line as well. Okay, so now I'm going to grab that hatch tool. I'm going to change it to 0.8. I should have probably did that first, but I didn't. And double click on the hatch tool and I can now hatch. Okay. Now, save that. Now I'm going to hatch 2 more things actually. I'm going to hatch this walkway, and then the garden. So let's see what I can find for the walkway. Now what you can do is you can use your arrow key to just go up and down. So let's say you want brick for a walkway. I think there's paving stone down here. Somewhere I thought I saw paving stone. There's different types of brick here. There's some... Ooh, I like this one. So brick 3, I'm going to keep that in mind. Ooh, there's concrete too. Ooh, that can be, concrete can be for my... So brick 3 and concrete 3. So let's pick concrete 3 for now since I have it. And I'm going to use that for my driveway. Ah, what happened? Why did it go way over there? Let's Control Z that. That's the thing about hatching. So I'm going to zoom into this. That didn't make any sense. That shouldn't have leaked. Let's try that again. Okay, concrete. Move my hatch over, left click. Okay, it worked that time. I'm not sure why it went into such a funny place. So that's good. Concrete. And then I'm going to grab that brick 3. This one I liked, and I'm not sure if 0.8 is going to work, but let's see. Ooh, 0.8 is way too big. So we're going to try to make like 0.2. So I'm going to undo that. Where'd that go? Let's try 0.2. See what that looks like. Left click. That looks better. I like that. Now when I zoom out, it still looks okay. And we'll do this one as well with brick. Okay. And the last one is the garden. So that one is here. And where is... I would probably be looking for soil, I imagine. Soil, no, weave. Even concrete kind of looked like dirt. So just find something that works for you. I might try to find that concrete. Where'd that go? That looks like dirt. All of those look like dirt. Let's do concrete 1. And hatch scale 0.2, I wonder. Oh, yikes. Wow, I'm actually glad it's doing this. So that's what can crash your computer. It looks black, but when I zoom into this really, really small, you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Z that before I go and zoom out. And then I'm going to go previous zoom. So if that would have leaked out into here, it would have built that hatching very densely in all this outside area, and that could have crashed your computer. So you got to be careful. So, you know what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to be careful. Go File, Save As, and we're going to call this Site Plan 2A and save. And that way we can always go back to Plan Part 2 in case something does crash on us. So let's try that again, but let's change that scale to like 1 and see what that looks like. Oh, okay, we don't really know until we zoom out. Oh, it's black. So that's too dense. So remember, we can double click on this and let's increase that to, let's say 1.5 maybe. That's going to be fairly dense. Let's try 2 and zoom out. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm okay with that. And what else did I have on my list to talk about today? We've got hatching, we have images from the library, trees, shrubs. We have sidewalks done. We have that second site plan done. Our utilities done. Wow, this is a big video. Already 43 minutes. You know what? The last thing I think I'm going to do on part 2 video is we're going to label this right here, this shed. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to zoom into both of these. And I'm just going to simply click on this and press down Shift and click on this. And I'm going to copy Control C and Control V. And I'm going to just put this over here. Now, it's not a deck. I understand that. So left click and press Enter. But this is a shed, so I'm going to double click on that and just change this to shed. Oh, in capital letters. Good. And this was a 8 by 12 shed, I believe. Let me double check that. 8 by 12. Yes. So now I'm going to double click on this and change it to 8 by 12 instead of 14 by 12. There you go. Now you might have to change this, move this centered a bit. Okay. I'm thinking things are going pretty good here so far. So I'm happy with that. Pretty happy with that. I don't need to hatch my house. I could make my deck a little bit nicer by putting boards on it. So the way I put boards on it is I use my parallel tool. So grabbing the parallel tool, I'm going to take and 0.5, let's see what that looks like. That's 6 inches. You know what? That's going to be pretty small boards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, even though you'd probably build a deck out of 2x6s, I'm going to actually make this bigger. I'm going to make it, let's go 0.75. Let's see what that looks like. So when I zoom out, yeah, I'm good with 0.75. So maybe not as realistic as 0.5, but 0.75 will look better when I zoom out. So what I've done here is I paralleled the whole box that I built. I simply press the letter D, trim this corner, like rough trim, and rough trim it over here, just to break it. Now I can click on this line and press Delete key on my keyboard. Oh, here as well. Not sure why that, I thought that was all together. Now I can simply take and extend the line by double clicking on it, click on the line and right click on this corner, click on the line and right click on this corner. And now I can simply take my parallel tool. It's already set to 0.75, and if I double click on it, I can just go ahead and do this. And this is just putting deck boards on my deck, making it a little bit nicer. And it actually worked out pretty good. I may not, let's see. Yeah, I do have 6 inches left over, or it's 0.75. So that worked out very good. Kind of a fluke on that one. Zoom out, and I am happy with that. This is pretty much a completed site plan. So the next thing I'm going to have to do after I draw this will be to draw a legend over here on the right hand side. And that will show me, that's where I put some information about what's included on these lots. So after you have completed this site plan, what you're going to do is you're going to move on to this side. And you're going to draw your 4-foot setbacks here, here, and here, as well as 25-foot setback in the front. And remember, you can always go to that first video. And then you're going to draw your own house that is approximately 1,500 square feet. So if it's a little more or a little less, I'm fine with that. And I would like you to also have a 24 by 24 foot garage that is along the front setback line. Okay, now this is your own property, so your garage can be in the middle, it can be on the side, it doesn't matter, and your house could be a different shape, it could go farther back. Okay, it doesn't have to be, and actually don't want it to look like my house. You're going to also draw yourself a deck. You're going to put a shed in the backyard, an 8 by 12 shed, please. The garden plot, you're going to make your own size. All of the walkways, those are going to be of your choosing as well. And if you have extra room, like in this backyard, I have a lot of green space. Okay, so if you have that extra room, you can put in something of your own liking. For example, a pool, or maybe a half-court basketball court, or maybe a tennis court. I don't know, that'd be a pretty small tennis court. But you could do something that you like in the background. Maybe you want to put another garage back here that's accessible to the back alley. Now remember, your setbacks though are that 4 foot and 4 foot, even in the backyard. So make sure you're staying within those boundaries. You're also going to take and make a fence here and here, as well as your utility lines. So you're gonna bring these utility lines into your house, 4 from the back and 2 from the front. And that basically explains the third part. Now I'm not going to make a third video because this section is up for you. This is where you use a little bit of your artistic license accompanied by the requirements that I've set forth. Okay, I think that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time.